Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu wa maghfiratuh. Brothers and sisters, Allah told us in the Quran, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Allah told us that the reason why He created this life and death, rather this death and this life, is so that He may test you to see who amongst you is most righteous in his or her actions. This life is a test, and you, my dear brother and sister, are a slave. Whether you like it or not, your master brought you out into this world, and this is a test. Now the question you want to ask yourself, and you really need to ask yourself, is, are you surviving the test? Or are you failing? Brothers and sisters, I really want to make you understand how severe your situation is and mine. I want to give you an example, and this example is a reflection of exactly what our test is like. Imagine that we are a people who are on a journey, a path that we have to walk, but we are not permitted to walk this path unless it is nighttime. And in the nighttime when we walk this path, it's so dark that if someone was to walk up and poke you in the eye, you wouldn't be able to see that finger coming. And what adds to our situation is the fact that this path, not only is it dark and we can't see which way we are going and what the right path is, what the right direction is, there's scorpions, there's tarantulas, there's snakes and all sorts of other poisonous and venomous animals, there's pit holes and cracks in the floor, there's lions and all sorts of animals and creatures. And we're getting bitten along the way, ripped apart along the way. Some of us are getting caught and trapped up along the way, and we're not making it out. But then suddenly, we see a man holding up a light. And with this light, he's able to observe what the path to safety is for himself. And he's able to navigate a path towards his survival. And we look at this man from afar and we think, he can aid us in our survival, so we follow him. We walk right behind him because he has the light. And he's guiding us to the right path. He can see where the harm is, and he can see where the path to safety is. Brothers and sisters, that light is knowledge. And that man is a man of knowledge. An alim, a scholar in other words. And a scholar guides with his knowledge to the path that is correct. And without that knowledge, my brothers and sisters, we are left in a state of utter darkness. We're helpless. Brothers and sisters, if you want to traverse through this journey of life and this test, and you want to come out victorious and safe at the end of the other road, there's only one way, and that is knowledge. In fact, knowledge is so important that when Allah set the Prophet ﷺ on this very same journey, when he became the messenger and he set him on this mammoth task of leading the people out of the darkness into the light, the first command Allah gave him was, Muhammad, Iqra, read. Because with reading comes knowledge. Brothers and sisters, to show you and really drive the point home with regards to how important knowledge is and how much you are in need of it and how much you are suffering and will not survive this test without it, I have one simple question to ask you. But before I ask you this question, I need to explain a concept to you. In Islam, we have 5 pillars. The reason we call them pillars of Islam is because Islam is on top. Islam is the construction at the top. It is being held up by these pillars. The Shahada, the Salah, the Zakat, the Siyam, and the Hajj. Now, if I came and knocked off all of these pillars, then what would happen to the Islam? It would collapse. So a person who does not implement the shahada, the salah, etc., so on and so forth, his Islam is non-existent. His Islam is deficient. Let alone a person who don't even know what these 5 pillars are. So that is what the significance of pillars is. Now, based on this, I want to ask you a question. Allah told us in the Quran that our purpose for creating us is so that we may worship Him. So you worship Allah every day, right? You pray 5 times a day, right? You fast, right? So you worship Him, right? Question: what are the 2 pillars of worship? What are the 2 things that if they are not present in your worship, your worship ain't present? What are they? The fact that you even have to think. The fact that you're confused or you're like, what? Bro, that should scare you, my sister. That should scare you, my brother. Your very reason for existence, you have to carry it out. You think you're carrying out, but the 2 very things that are the pillars that will actually hold up your worship, you don't even know what they are. It's a very serious matter. But you know what, to some extent, I kind of empathize with you. I feel for you. Because I'm forever having brothers and sisters coming my way saying, Brother Imran, we want to study. Where do I go? And I don't really know where to send you. Sure, there's a marriage class over there, and there's a class about the signs of the Day of Judgment over there, and maybe there's a class on Dajjal, and there's a class on Jinn and black magic there. But brothers and sisters, that stuff, even though it's important and beneficial to learn about, it's not going to save you from the hellfire if the most important knowledges and those things of priority are not present. For example, did you know that there are 135 common mistakes that people make in the recitation of their Surah Al-Fatiha? And in the recitation of their Surah Al-Fatiha, many of these 135 mistakes, if you make, which are very common and I hear them all the time amongst the people, if you make them, they cause your salah to be nullified because you change the meaning. Let me give you an example. Not the Fatiha, but something else. We all know this surah very well. Surah Al-Ikhlas, right? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. Say He is Allah, one and only. That letter that you start the first word with is qaf. You say qul. Now, a lot of people, they don't say qul, they say kul with a kaf. Not a qaf, but a kaf. They don't say qul, they say kul. Do you know what kul means in the Arabic? It means eat. So when you're praying and you're saying Kul hu Allahu ahad, you're saying eat, He is Allah one. Brothers and sisters, if you make that mistake in the Fatiha, your prayer is gone. And the Fatiha is the central pillar of the whole religion. Where are you going to go to learn that stuff? I mean, there's not one place that brings all of the survival knowledge, the knowledge that you need to just absolutely survive and stay afloat. I've not seen it. Wallahi, I've not seen it in any one place. And that's what we have geared and directed our faces and our efforts towards, is bringing you a compilation, a structure from the classical texts of what the most foundation, basic knowledges are, so we can build you firmly from the bottom and then we can work our way up to the top. And that is what the survival guide is all about, brothers and sisters. It's a guide that will enable you to survive. But we're not just about survival. Because the Prophet told us, don't just ask to survive. Don't just ask to get Jannah, ask for Firdaus al-A'la, the highest place. So we're going to work our way up, but we've got to start from the bottom. So brothers and sisters, I'm just going to urge you. There's no obligation to do so. But wallahi, it's real. Like your afterlife is at stake. Knowledge is the thing that people, they put to the side. And we're placing it on a platter for you, online. The comfort of your own home. 10, 15, 20 maximum minute videos released once or twice a week over the course of the next few months, years maybe. And through that process, every week, you learn a little, you learn a little, you learn a little. And then inshallah, we build and we grow. It's so easy. We sit down for hours working on a 15, 10, 12-minute video, making it as basic and as understandable and as digestible as we possibly can, as interesting and exciting and as applicable in your life as we can. And that's what the survival guide is all about, brothers and sisters. And wallahi, you really need this stuff. I'll be honest with you. Up until very recently, I didn't know the stuff myself. I knew a lot of other knowledges and information and fact. But the most basic things, I didn't even know. I didn't even know. So, if you want to join us on this journey, go to the link below and register now for the survival guide. And let us go through this process together. When you register, the first video, you're going to learn who that man was who was holding that light. You're going to learn what that light really is. We know it's knowledge, but what types? How to obtain it, acquire it, hold on to it, react to it. And once we know that, we're going to dive into that light. And we're going to let it direct us. And inshallah, we're going to survive. We're going to survive this world. We're going to make it to the akhirah, inshallah. Register, link below. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace.